I was kind of curious to see what kind of video they had of me playing ball here. It wouldn't have been in color, I don't think, back in those days. It'd been, man, they need some lights up here so we can see our notes. Got a good idea. Maybe I'll put some glasses on, that'll help. So, first of all, thank you to the Hall of Fame committee, to Tony Neely, Mitch Barnhart, the University of Kentucky, and to all the other inductees tonight. It's an honor to be inducted with you. And it was a pleasure to watch you all perform here over these years at the university. When something like this occurs in one's life, obviously there are a countless number of folks responsible and needed to be thanked. I've tried to do that most of my life, especially as I grow older and finally realize that it really does take a village. And several friends and family were kind enough to attend the evening tonight, and I thank you. I've got my co-workers are here sitting at a table, a lot of family members, but Dick Gabriel is here. And Dick, thanks for these 85 years of broadcasting together. They've been... Dick has proven that as long as you have one person that speaks good English, then you can have two people doing a broadcast. I appreciate that. So, my buddy Rick Walls from the Reds Hall of Fame is here. Thank you for coming. He keeps me involved in baseball still, which I still love, and I'm thankful for that. 28 years ago, Luther Deaton hired me at Central Bank, and back then Luther was my boss, and 28 years later, Luther's not just my boss, he's my friend. Thank you, Luther. And we have one of the greatest baseball announcers ever, especially in my lifetime that I ever heard. They just did a statue of him in Cincinnati. The great Mr. Marty Brenneman has come here tonight. So, Marty, thank you for coming, buddy. All right, when I got the news that I was being inducted, I thought, I was being punked by Ashton Kutcher or something. I said, this is not right. So I headed home because I really wanted to share something with my lovely wife. So I get home and I said, honey, she said, how was your meeting with Mr. Barnhart? I said, it was nice. We talked about family, faith, and the Hall of Fame, and a few other things. She said, what? I said, yeah, they want to induct me into the University of Kentucky Hall of Fame. And without breaking stride, she went, why? And I don't know, I may have been one of the original one and dones. And I apologize because when that other coach got here, I didn't know they were going to take it so serious. So I grew up here in Lexington. I've always been a UK fan. As a matter of fact, my birthday, on my 15th birthday, was a University of Kentucky basketball player. My dad brought Larry Conley over to our house after the '66 championship game. That was my present. So growing up, I've watched this for so many years, but my story is kind of unique how I got here, and I'll share just a little. I graduated from Bryan Station, 5'8", 147 pounds. I played 3 sports. I wasn't a star, made no all-state teams. As a matter of fact, I didn't have many college offers. Well, let's just be honest. I didn't have any college offers. But then I get a call from Coach Hall one day, and he says, we'd like for you to come play basketball at the University of Kentucky. All of my friends used to imitate Coach Hall and Coach Rupp, so I thought it was a joke, and I hung up the phone. A little bit later, he calls my house and says, we're going to come over because the point guard that they had originally signed a contract with the Cleveland Indians. So I ended up playing here. And it was wonderful. I played with the great Jim Andrews, who was not only a great player, but a better person. And I'm glad to see him here tonight. We got to scrimmage against the #1 team in the nation every single day. And it taught me how to play at a higher level. Because playing from high school and then going against scrimmaging great ball players, it taught me and it helped me all the way down the line. But little did I know how God was orchestrating my life. See, I was a late bloomer. But with a little growth and maturity, continually playing ball somewhere all the time. Some friends' encouragement to attend a tryout camp with a borrowed glove and spikes. A scout named Chet Montgomery who saw something in me that I didn't even recognize in myself. My first manager, Russ Nixon, who insisted I stay one more year of pro ball because after my first year, quite frankly, I was ready to go back to Bethel College and play 3 years of basketball. Then I went 3 years of minor leagues, and then having the best spring of my life or my career, I got an opportunity to be a pro ball player. Tonight, my cup runneth over with gratitude, and I want to thank a couple of more folks. My little brother's here. I've never asked my brother anything that he's ever questioned me. He's just done it. He's a police officer, and I love him to death. And I'm glad he and his wife Leslie are here, and he's my best bud. Well, he's my second best bud. Now, my mom and dad, you all know my dad. Would he be in heaven right now? Well, he is in heaven right now. Would he? he'd have got rid of this World Series ring and run around with a big UK shirt on, just hoping somebody'd say, "Are you a UK fan? Let me tell you about my boy." Michaela gave him a big hug one time right before he died. He came to watch her play one night, and she gave him a big hug. And last, my wife. My wife is my completer, and I rarely brag on her in public because she just doesn't want the attention. And I'll probably pay for this later. After 43 years of marriage, she was and still is to me the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. When God brought her into my life, he and she made sure then and now that Christ was and always is at the center of everything that we do. And I got nervous all of a sudden, honey, I'm sorry. So, and this is in the words of, you know, I like country music. In the words of country music singer Don Williams, "You're my bread when I'm hungry. You're my shelter in troubled winds. You're my anchor in life's ocean, but most of all, you're my best friend." You know, I've often wondered why God chose me to be so generous to be so generous with. Others have worked just as hard, harder, were bigger, much better. Some deserved it even more. And I truly believe there's much responsibility that goes along with this. My buddy Max Apple always reminds me to keep the main thing the main thing. And in doing so, I've found that the closer I draw near to Christ, then the closer I draw to my wife, my friends, and everybody that I come in contact with. My greatest joy has always been to share my career with my family and friends, and in this room tonight, there are some of both. This evening could never have ever been imagined or dreamed of. I'm humbled, I'm honored, and I will always be proud and grateful. And I thank you so much. May God bless you, and go Cats.